Good afternoon. I haven't been on for a while. I've had some work being done in the house, and this afternoon's the first time in days that I haven't had banging and shouting and filth everywhere. So I spent the weekend trying to clean it all up. There's still more work to be done over the next few weeks, and then it will be decorating time. So anyway, hello and welcome to my channel, Straighten Your Crown Tarot. My name is Louise, if you didn't already know that. I am a Reiki Master teacher. I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm a kinesiologist, a meridian psychotherapist, and did I say I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychologist and acupressurist. And I'm also a tarot reader. And I'm also still learning on this spiritual journey. This afternoon, I've been meaning to do it all day, but just been too busy. I want to talk about the empty nest syndrome. Now, if you're of a certain age, you may be able to identify with this syndrome, if you like, which is, or can be, quite emotionally upsetting, and it can lead to depression. And there's lots of reasons for that. If you're partnered, you've got a partner, quite often research shows that the male partner feels empty nest syndrome far more than the mother of the family. If you are a single parent or have been a single parent for a long time, as a single parent, you may feel that empty nest syndrome more intensely than people who are partnered. However, there is a problem that arises often with empty nest syndrome with partners, and that's from the fact that quite often, through bringing up children and the jobs and the house and the cleaning and the washing and the shopping and the bills and everything else, partners lose connection with one another, and they quite often find themselves strangers. Even though they've been married for years or together for years, they can find themselves strangers, and they can find themselves having absolutely nothing in common with the partner. For a single parent, whether you're male or female, it makes no difference. Your whole world has been your children, and to a degree, your children's whole world has been you. And once your children leave home, it is difficult to come to terms with all of a sudden being on your own, but not necessarily on your own, not having all the responsibility, every bit of the responsibility of the household, the job, the children and everything else. And it can lead to lack of motivation, depression, realising that you don't have a friendship group, or realising that you all of a sudden find yourself in an unusual situation where you can't or feel unable to reach out to people and make new friends and do new things and take up the hobbies you've always wanted to do. And sometimes you can feel quite resentful of your children, because if it hadn't been for them, you would have had a social life. If that's you, I feel you. I have been there, and it is very, very difficult. And sometimes being on your own for a very, very long time becomes a comfort zone. And stepping outside of that comfort zone is scary. Because as human beings, as I've said it before, as human beings, change is a very scary thing. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay as you are? Or are you going to spread your wings and live that life you've always dreamed of living before you became responsible for everyone and everything in your life? That can be quite difficult to do. Excuse the bruises. This is the mad Springer Spaniel that's got a huge, massive prey drive, and I'm training her at the moment, and she's very, very difficult to train. So if anybody out there has got a Springer Spaniel that is jumping and biting and nipping and got a massive prey drive or has had a prey drive, any tips you can give me, please give them, because this dog is full on. I'm sure she'll settle down, but right now she's full on. Anyway, so we'll get back to what I was talking about. So, empty nest syndrome. What should you do about it? Let's have a look at the tarot cards and see what they have to offer for us today. Off the top of my head, I could say, try new things. Take an art class, take any sort of class, learn something new. Meet new people in your interest area, you know, within your area of interest. What if your area of interest happens to be a solitary thing? What happens if what you would like more time to do means that now you have more time to do it? What happens if that thing is a solitary thing that doesn't require other people? Are you choosing things to keep yourself solitary on purpose? Maybe think a little bit deeper as to what that would be. So let's have a look at the first card. So we've got, I'm not surprised to see this today, the Two of Cups. Twos are about choices. A choice in what you have a choice. Do you stay by yourself? Do you keep all the things that you fill your life with now your children have left home a solitary pastime? Or do you choose to branch out? Are you looking for second time around or third time around long-term commitment? Are you afraid of that? So the Two of Cups tells us about making a choice, and cups are about emotions. Mainly love. If it's in the upright, it's about love, compassion, what makes you happy, what makes you joyful. Now your kids have left home. They've branched out on their own. They've got their own things that they want to do. You are no longer their focal point. Their life is now their focal point, and that's how it should be. So where are you going to place your attention? That's something that you have a choice. You can remain insular, or you can branch out and try new things. Let's have a look at the second card. And we've got another 2. Choices. Choices. The 2 of Swords depicts a choice, but not knowing which path to go down. She has a blindfold on. She can't see her way clearly. Neither one of these choices is a clear choice. There's no clarity in this choice. What can you do? What should you do? What do you want to do? Now, the 2 of Cups is telling us to choose what makes you happy. What is it that you wanted to do while you were bringing your children up that you didn't have time to do? Do you want to find a partner? Do you want to start a new hobby? Do you want to find a social circle? Or do you want to remain on your own and start looking into hobbies and new things that keep you alone? That's a choice. So you're at a crossroads right now. 2 of Swords is about crossroads. You are at a crossroads right now. You haven't made your choice yet because you are deliberating your choices and working your way through those choices. And Swords are also about overthinking. You cannot be overthinking your choices and being quite worried about which one you should take. Do you dip your toe in the water, or do you stay as you are? So let's have a look. So if you stay as you are, what's your choice? Stay as you are, what's your choice? Stay as you are, what's your choice? Anxiety, worry. If you look at the 9 of Swords to me is the anxiety card. This person's up at night, worried about the children, still focusing on the children and not focusing on yourself, your future. Because for years, your future has been played out through your children. All these swords are on the wall. None of the swords are piercing this person's body, but she's worried about it. She's anxious about it, worried about the kids, worried about what you're going to do next, worried about how lonely it is being on your own, depressed. Are you depressed? Are you lonely? Are you worried about your children now they've set off on their own fool's journey in the big wide world without you to catch them? You need to remember that even if your children do fall down in the big wide world, you will always be there to catch them. And what happens if you do make a choice? And now we've got 2. So look what we've got. We've got the Ace of Wands, new inspiration. This is telling me that you need to look at what inspires you, what fires you up, where your passion lays, where your passion laid before your children were born, what excited you. And these are the things that you should be revisiting. New inspiration, taking up the baton of a new challenge. And then we've got, oh yeah, so taking up a new challenge. So then we've got the Hierophant. The Hierophant sometimes is called the Pope. It usually depicts a religious order or section, or a religious influence. But the Hierophant is also a teacher. It's also about learning. Maybe you want to relearn something that you learnt many years ago, that you loved many years ago. Maybe you want to learn something new. And if you do take a class, you'll meet new people. Unless you decide to take an online class where you won't and so you're still in the same position. Empty nest syndrome. So let's have a look at a Wisdom of the Oracle card. Empty nest syndrome is a real thing, and it does affect more people than we realise. It is another life adjustment. It's a huge life adjustment. And unless you've got kids that keep coming back, and are still very needy, and you then need to continue taking up that parental role. Once that parental role is no longer needed, you feel like you're no longer needed. But the thing is, you are. You always will be. You have been a huge part of your children's lives, and they've been a huge part of yours. And now they're moving on to make their own way in the world. And you need to do the same thing too. It's about making a new way in the world. You're not starting off new to the world. You're just forging a new path. And it does get easier. And it does get better. And it does get less exhausting and less anxiety promoting the longer you go on. And the more you have in your life around you, whether it's your job, a hobby, new friends, I don't know, a class, the more you then create your new life too, without your children as responsibilities. And instead your children become your friend. Come on, let's have a wisdom. They're not wanting to come out today. Come on. Oh, here we go. We've got one. That flew. And so did the camera. Excuse me. We've got, to be fair, number 38. This is about balance. Two things, creating balance. Empty nest syndrome creates imbalance, or all of a sudden imbalance after being used to a certain way of going on, a certain way of life. Your kids leave home, all of a sudden you're out of balance. You don't know what to do. You've got nothing to get up. You don't have to get up at the crack of dawn to get them all ready for school. You haven't got to constantly be cleaning the house because they're leaving a mess everywhere. You're not telling anybody off. Your life is much easier, and yet in your head it has become dark and difficult and depressing. So let's have a look what To Be Fair has to say. I think we've had this one before. Number 38, which makes me 11. Decent angel number. 11. 38. I'm looking for number 11. Why did I look for number 11? I don't know. I'll have a look at it later, because it may mean that I should read that one too, but I'm not going to today. 38. Where are we? Right, number 38. Balance, justice, a need to consider options. The law of cause and effect. Life offers experiences that are challenging and experiences that are nourishing, yet over time they strike a balance. You move from being from status to doing, from discovering to loving to letting go and to being again. Life is a pendulum swinging between all of these states. You will always oscillate back and forth between doing and being. If you are not content with where you are at this moment, remember that all experiences have their place. Accept them without judgment, and you will see how the universe adjusts in perfect balance. You reap what you sow. For every cause, there is an effect. Wondrous things will be revealed now. So I'm not going to read the relationship and the prosperity message from this because I think that says it all. Life goes in cycles. There is a need to balance and to bring balance back into your life. If you have or are struggling with empty nest syndrome or missing your kids because they've left home and you feel as though you've had your arms and legs chopped off, you now need to find balance in your life, to rebalance, because it's just another cycle. Your parenting job is over and now it's time to utilize your time and find the joy in that. Right, we'll just have a postcard from Spirit. Just get rid of these out of the way and see what they come up with today. So if you have empty nest syndrome, I feel you. I have to say, as a single parent myself for many, many years, I was overjoyed when both my kids left home because I didn't have a moment to myself. But yes, I have found myself at that crossroads where I now need to find my ability to be social again. Not that I'm not an antisocial person, I just don't have anybody in my sphere near to me. I do talk to people often, and actually most of them I've never met. But it is nice to have physical people in your orbit, and that's where I am right now, looking to have physical people, friendships in my orbit. Romantic relationship, not bothered about. Friends, genuine connections with people like me would be nice. And that's where I am at now. So if you're at that stage too, I hear you. Come on. There we go. Which one? Dear you, uncertainty is the new normal for the whole world. Oh, tell me about it. Things are changing at a rapid pace, and the old ways we once trusted are no longer reliable. But leaving the familiar behind can be a good thing. Okay. When you are pushed to step into the unknown, you are pulled forward into discovering new possibilities. Isn't that what I was trying to say, even if I didn't say it very well? That trying new things and going new places and meeting new people is like being pushed into the unknown, and change is scary. Check in with your higher power. Your soul knows better than your small self. Have faith in the support of a higher power and the infinite potential for your life. Right now, the advice we have for you is this: try something new. Do something different. You won't know how it feels, what it looks like, or what the outcome will be if you do not take the first step into the unknown and experience the unfamiliarity. You'll be glad you did, because the treasure will appear. We are so proud of you for being brave. Okay, so me, you, that's our advice for today. Step out into the unknown. Do something different. Try something new. And take that first step into the unknown and experience the unfamiliarity. Right then, Spirit. I'll be taking that one on board. Thank you. So, on that note, it's Valentine's Day today. So all you Valentines out there, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a brilliant time. And all those who are on their own on Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. Do something nice for yourself. Maybe try something different. Now there's a thought. Take care. Be kind. Bye-bye.